Okay, good morning, millionaires. Good morning, millionaires. I hope everybody's feeling incredible this morning. My name is Haziq Ali. I'm a revenue acceleration expert. I am a self-esteem development fanatic, starting with my own. You hear me? And every single morning, we're here to help you go further, faster, with less effort, further, faster, with less effort. I hope that you, in your heart of hearts, understand that your business is worth a lot more than you think. My goal is to help you figure out some different ways that you can prove it to yourself, different ways you can prove it to the marketplace. But it is an incredible journey that you're on. It's an incredible opportunity that you have when you're talking about being an entrepreneur. But it all boils down to belief. So this morning, that's what we're going to talk about. We're going to talk about Deion Sanders, some things that I've observed about Deion Sanders, who used to go as Prime Time and now is known as Coach Prime. And then we're going to talk a little bit about building belief. But right now, it's check-in time, baby. Like, let them know your city. Let them know what kind of business you have. We want to know all about it. It's like a free promotion for all the entrepreneurs and servant leaders out there. We usually take about 5 minutes in the beginning of the show to kind of shout you out. So without further ado, shout yourself out. Let us know where you're from. Let us know what kind of business you have. And even more importantly than that, how it helps people. Good morning, Ashley. Do me a favor and share this on your timeline, Ash. What's up, Yuli? Can you share this for me, Yuli? My man, Dennis Thicklin. Share this thing, D-Money. My man, Alan Harmon made it in tonight. The Allen Group is in the house. Yeah, let's grow. Let's grow. I think that it's really amazing that it's Monday, man, because most people get excited for Fridays. And here we are, bright and early and ready to go on a Monday morning. Sometimes I say TGIM, like thank God it's Monday. You know what I mean? And one reason I always say thank God it's Monday is that today is newsletter day. Every Monday at 3:30 p.m., the newsletter drops. This newsletter is incredible. It's dedicated to mindset, heart set, and then skill set. So every single week, you get a piece of philosophy that'll help you kind of strengthen the way you're looking at everything, kind of change who you're becoming in some small way. Then you get a piece of heart set that'll make the journey more fulfilling, right? I always give you a question of the week, like $1 million question, we call it. And then I also give you a skill, like I always give you Haziq's technique of the week. And if you just collect those alone, at the end of a year, you've got 52 new techniques that can help you grow your business. And it's all free. It's all free. So if you want to join, and make sure you go to millionaireminded.com, or you can type it in like an affirmation. We are millionaireminded.com, and put your name and your email in the box. And just like that, you're enrolled in the world's best newsletter for entrepreneurs. Wyona made it in this morning. Can you share this for me, Wyona? Can you share this on your timeline for me? Sade, I love it. I love it. Sade made it in. Daryl made it in. Let's go. Let's go. Samaya, I'm glad you made it in this morning, Queen. Linda made it in. All right, y'all. So we're going to get this party started, because I think that it's interesting that Coach Deion Sanders keeps repeating the same word over and over, right? To me, it's a lesson in emotional intelligence. But over and over and over again, you hear him use one word more than anything else. And no, I'm not talking about the word prime. I don't know how many of you know, but this word that he uses all the time, he's been using way before he was a coach. I don't know how many of you know this already, but Deion Sanders is not just the coach of the Colorado Buffaloes, who left some HBCU to come over to the D1. Nah, he's not just the coach of a team that won no games last year. And for a while there, he had them undefeated. No, Coach Prime, or Deion Sanders, is also the only man in history of sports in this country to hit a home run and score a touchdown in the same week. He hit a home run for the professional baseball team he was playing for, and then he returned a kickoff for a touchdown later on that week in the same 7-day period. No one's ever done that before him, and no one's ever done it since. But you know the word that he's constantly repeating over and over and over and over again? Somebody give it to me in the comments and then give me a share. Believe. Believe. Somebody give it to me. Believe. That's what this coach that goes by the name of Coach Prime said about his team after the Buffaloes won this nail-biting, double overtime thriller against Colorado State. They're like the in-state rivals for him, right? He had called that game personal, especially after the coach of that team kind of started taking shots at him. But the point I'm making to you is that you got to believe. You got to believe, right? You got to believe. Yeah, Shamaya. Yeah, Darnisha. Yeah, Taisha. You got to believe. That's right, Miss Lynch. You got to believe, Samaya. Yeah, Tess. Hey, can y'all share this for me? This is real important. Linda, Kay, Tess, can you share this on your timeline? Samaya, can you share this thing? Check it out, y'all. A couple weeks ago, after Buffalo upset this highly respected TCU team, and I'm not trying to make you a college sports fanatic in one show, but he had confronted this reporter that had written some kind of like hate mail. He was putting out hate columns about the Buffaloes. And what he asked him, he said, "You believe now?" Right? Early last week, he came on ESPN and he said the word over and over and over again in 30 seconds. We believe. We just believe. We truly believe. We just truly believe. And before you dismiss, his use of this word as just pure hype, I want you to consider that there's actually a firm foundation that using this type of speech to motivate other people is rooted in emotional intelligence. Millionaires, I'm going to break down to you the power of belief real quick. And I want you to leave this show this morning, since it's Mindset Mondays. Y'all see down there at the bottom, that's our schedule for what we do every single day of the week. Tomorrow's about sales tips, but today we're talking mindset. I want you to understand before you leave here today how you can use belief to help you run your business, how you can use belief to help you run your life. And if you find value in this, maybe it's the kind of thing that will encourage you to join our academy. But regardless, I want you to leave here believing. If you want to get the most out of other people, you got to make them believe. Somebody give it to me. If you want to get the most out of others, you got to make them believe. Can somebody type that out for me? Because here's what I want you to understand. For decades, research has talked about how teachers and mentors and coaches who focus on nurturing students and highlighting their potential always get better results. For decades. And today, we have so much more evidence that interest always precedes the development of talent. In other words, you got to be into it to even become good at it, right? It turns out then that motivation is the reason that people develop talent in the first place. There's this famous study they did at Harvard where this guy, Robert Rosenthal, if you care, he had teamed up with an elementary school that was in his area. And then they did this program, they did this experiment, they did this project with students from 18 different classrooms. They went from kindergarten all the way through to 5th grade. And all were given this Harvard cognitive ability test, right? So what the test was measuring was their verbal, and it was measuring their critical thinking skills, all the stuff that they find vital to being able to be a problem solver. So what did they do? They end up sharing the results with the teachers. About 20% of the students had shown potential for making unusual intellectual gains, right? In other words, pretty smart. And here the teachers then were able to go into it armed with the knowledge that their students had high potential. So what did the teachers do? They set high expectations. In turn, the students also believed they had high potential and they delivered. When the students took all of these tests a year later, they'd improved their fellow students, right? They'd improved over their fellow students. They had raised their IQ rates at way greater rates, right? And they were still outgaining the other students 2 years later. But here's one really wild detail about this story. The students labeled as high potential didn't really score higher on the test. If you guys have ever read my book, it's called Take It Easy. I kind of go way deeper into this research project. I kind of tell another story too about a similar thing where the teachers were told they were really good and that therefore they were getting the best students. Turns out the teachers they used in the experiment were horrible. They were the worst teachers in the whole district. But everybody improves when they believe. This study was designed to find out what happened to students when teachers believed they had high potential. But what I'm telling you is that this works with everybody. The bloomers weren't any smarter than their peers. The difference was only in the mind of the teacher. In other words, the teacher's expectations help create self-fulfilling prophecies. Am I making sense to somebody out there? Is this making sense? So this guy we call Coach Prime, right, seems to be doing the same exact thing in Colorado. Yeah, the kids he coaches have talent. Of course they do. But so do the players on the opposite side. And I'm telling you this story right after they just now got blown out. And Coach Prime is all over the news talking about, y'all better enjoy this now because it's the worst we ever going to be, right? They were undefeated until this past weekend, despite playing higher ranked opponent after higher ranked opponent. You hear me? And even in the third game when they were up against their in-state rivals that are also in Colorado, they were way behind in the third game. And you can attribute a lot of this to the confidence of the coach. But even deeper than the word confidence, I want to talk about belief this morning. Because many of the people that are under your care as a servant leader, they aren't going to possess the inherent belief that they're good at something. Many of them lack the self-confidence. Many of them have been scarred by the way they've been trained to see their own performance. They've been scarred by perceived failures at work or perceived failures in life. They've been scarred by that bankruptcy. They've been scarred by that divorce. They've been scarred by that failing grade. And you can help change that. When you focus on people's strengths, you motivate them. When you nurture their potential, you're helping them become the best version of themselves. So what I'm asking you to do this morning is train yourself to see the good in other people by asking yourself some different types of questions. We know if you play silly games, you win silly prizes. But what if you were to switch up the games you're playing? Maybe the results would change too. So here's some questions that you can ask. What are they good at? Somebody give me some of these in the comments. How can I praise them for what they're good at, sincerely and specifically? Here's a third one for you. How can I help them leverage those strengths even further? And here's a fourth one for you. How can I help them improve their weaknesses through constructive feedback? So the first question was, what are they good at? Second one is, how can I praise them for what they're good at? Give them a good reputation to live up to, right? Be sincere, be specific. The third one is, how can I help them leverage those strengths? And then the fourth one is, how can I help them improve their weaknesses through constructive feedback? Because what you got to remember as a leader, you're in a unique position to inspire. You're in a unique position to motivate the people you work with. And if you believe, they have no choice to believe as well. Because nobody says monkey talk, monkey listen. The phrase is monkey see, monkey do. And whether or not you like Coach Prime, you got to admit, the Colorado Buffaloes believe. And that belief has them doing some really extraordinary things. So how do you develop belief in yourself? Here's the first one I got for you. Think positive. Here's the first one I got for you. Think positive. It's so messed up. I had y'all sharing this constantly, and I never had the title on the screen. So that's what we're talking about, 7 ways to build belief. The first one is think positive, right? What do we mean? We mean each of us has the power to choose and direct our thoughts in any direction we want. And I'm not saying that a positive mindset can make every problem disappear, but I am saying a negative mindset can make every problem worse. I do know that thinking optimistically keeps life flowing forward in the direction of our thoughts, in the direction of our dreams, because our actions naturally follow our thoughts. When you procrastinate, I'm going to tell you what it is. It's that you aren't thinking about the joyful anticipation of the result you want. When you're procrastinating, it's because you're thinking of the dreadful feeling you'll get if all hell breaks loose, if it doesn't work. So if you are looking to spark yourself to action, maybe what you need to do is begin to picture a different image. Maybe it's time for you to do some positive thinking. Some of you know, some of you don't, but we have the world's first vision board coloring book. You guys ever seen our vision board coloring books? They're amazing. I got one in my office somewhere. It's somewhere around here. But if you've never seen it before, it's a real opportunity for you to practice some positive thinking. It's a real opportunity for you to practice some positive thinking, because what it does is it puts these images in your mind that after they're there, you have no opportunity. You have no choice except for to feel a little bit better about what's going on in your life. I'll show you one. It's on one of these bookshelves or something. But it's called Color Me Millionaire, and it's amazing. So that's one good thing you can do is you can put more positive images in your mind. Second thing I got for you is become a gold digger. Somebody type this in the comments. This is one of those Hazikisms that maybe will serve you years from now. Check it out. Check it out. What you aim at determines what you see. What you aim at determines what you see. If you're going to develop a winning attitude, then you got to experience winning. And there's no way for you to feel like you won unless you set a goal and then accomplished it. This is one of the most powerful reasons that you got to create agendas that are backed by powerful but achievable goals. And what's the difference between a dream and a goal? A goal is a dream with a deadline. Somebody give me that in the comments. A goal is a dream with a deadline, right? I cannot tell you how often we overestimate what we can achieve in 1 year, but we underestimate what we can achieve in 5. It's time to be a goal digger. Here's the third one I got for you. Be more passionate. Be more passionate. Be more passionate. I appreciate that, Donisha. If somebody share this on your timeline, if you recognize that passion is one of the keys to success. If you're going to be successful in all areas of life, if you're going to be successful in any area of life, you're going to have to find something about it that you love. Waking up to something you feel no passion for is not going to provide for us well emotionally, even if it provides for us well financially. Do you hear what I'm saying? There are certain things more important than money. I want to invite you this morning to consider what you love about what it is you do. Here's the fourth one I got for you. If you're looking to create more belief, be gracious. See, when we live with grace instead of entitlement, we don't expect anybody to do all the hard work for us. We do everything we can to push ourselves forward. We ain't afraid of the hard work required, right? We know nobody knows us anything. And what happens is when it starts to get hard, we get hyped because we know that's the part they ain't willing to do. Are you living with grace? You know, there's nothing more career crushing. There's nothing more bank account crushing than somebody with entitlement. These people are poor relationship builders. These people are self-centered. These people tend to bully other people. They're some of the biggest complainers you'll run into in the workplace. Nah, man, we got to be patient. We got to have grace. We got to help other people and ask for help when we need it. We got to commit to working hard. We have to commit to being grateful. We have to commit to accepting things that are sometimes unfair, right? And what do we do with this? What do we call all of this? We call it graciousness. Here's the fifth one I got for you. Keep good company. Keep good company. Millionaires, we're all the direct reflection of the expectations of our peer group. Now that's worth you typing. That's worth you writing in your notes. We are all the direct reflections of the expectations of our peer group. What do I mean by that? What I mean is that emotions and attitudes are contagious. And this is why we should make a point to avoid losers. Oh, Hazik, why are you calling people losers? There's a word for people that expect to win. They call them winners. And then there's a word for people that expect to lose. Right now, we're talking about building belief. And if you're going to build belief, you've got to avoid the jealous. You've got to avoid the overtly negative. You've got to avoid the gossip. You've got to avoid the defeatist. We can't get anywhere when we're carrying. Listen, you can run with 100. You can't carry 1. Here's the sixth one I got for you. Grit, 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 mental toughness. You know, success is always going to be about persistence. Success is always going to be about determination and a stubbornness to never give up. Setbacks and rejections are part of any great endeavor. So we know we got to stay driven and optimistic. But check this out, y'all. What about grit? What about recognizing that rejections are a lot of times protections? What do I mean by that? Because work always works. There's always the work that you're doing on a project, and then there's always the work the project is doing on you. So if you're getting rejected this early in the game, what if that's building the exact muscle groups you're going to need when you fall that exact way at some point in the future? when it's way higher stakes, when there's much more at risk, when there's much more to gain and much more to lose? What if that rejection is really protection? What if that setback is really a setup for a comeback and a come up? And the seventh one I got for you is to know thyself. Know thyself. The reason in these mornings or on our newsletter we send out every Monday, which hopefully you guys have already registered for so that when it comes out later on the day, you get it. The reason I'm always focused on your self-esteem, who you are, whose you are. The reason I'm always talking about the faculties of the mind, whether it be will, intuition, perception, reason, imagination, or memory, is because I believe that one of the reasons that so many are broke or broke in the richest country in the world is that they weren't taught about themselves. They don't know themselves. We have to focus on acknowledging and developing our unique strengths if we're going to have belief in ourselves. Sometimes you hear me say skills build self-esteem. Millionaires, when do you put some time into learning yourself? How much time do you put into self-knowledge? How much time do you put into personal development? There's not a perfect person out there, man or woman. This is what keeps us humble. You're better than a lot of people at something, and a lot of people are better than you at some things. No man has nothing to teach me. There is not a single person on the planet, man or woman, that I can't learn from, right? Because when I see you, I'm seeing myself. Is that a fact? They say a wise man can learn from even a fool, and a fool can't even learn from a wise man. So if you bump into a fool, what I say is use them as fuel. We can learn ways to work with them. We can delegate things out instead of letting these aspects of other people's personalities bring down the whole plate. But guess what? We can do the same thing for ourselves. We can delegate things out instead of letting certain aspects of ourselves bring us down. This builds faith in who we are. Am I making sense, y'all? So I hope this was helpful this morning. You know, I hope that you got something out of this that maybe will give you ways to create belief in the people around you and then also build belief in yourself. This is my formal invitation for you to join the Kaizen Academy, because what we do is we live up or we live down to the expectations and the beliefs of everybody around us. People that express their belief and faith in us, people that express their belief and faith in our purpose and our agenda, they end up motivating us. They end up pushing us from a deep place in our core to continue our mission, from a deep place in our core that seems to be imbued now with a bigger sense of purpose or a bigger sense of passion. The faith and belief you know how we'd be like, faith comes by hearing. Sometimes you need people around. Sometimes you just need to hear them say it, right? I don't care if it's a friend, a manager, a coach, a mentor. I don't care if it's the people that we serve. I want to remind you that we are all the direct reflections of the expectations of our peer group. This is why we get together as a crew and we do affirmations every single morning. So right about now is affirmation time. Hope this was helpful for you. Yeah, my man Damon checking in. Let's go. Let's go. Mr. Ivory checking in. Let's go. Okay. All right, y'all. Yeah, that's exactly right. Okay, y'all was catching it this morning. I love it. All right, y'all, it's affirmation time. Let's go. Let's see who that crazy. Let's see who believes in themselves that much. Let's see who believes their words become flesh. Let's see who listen to me. Ain't nothing like calling it out. Do you know that when you describe the future, you prescribe? When you describe the present, you prescribe the future? What you're seeing around you says more about you than it says about the stuff around you. We better start speaking life. Repeat after me, millionaire. Say it like you mean it.